Good morning, and welcome to World in 15, your trusted source for comprehensive coverage of today's most pressing events, delivered with accuracy, integrity, and insight. As summer approaches, many Americans are bracing themselves for a notable increase in their electric bills, which could have serious consequences for some. We have Anthony reporting on this.
According to an analysis by the National Energy Assistance Directors Association and the Center for Energy Poverty and Climate, the cost of keeping cool is projected to rise nearly 8% to an average of $719 from June through September. This represents a significant increase from the $527 average seen in 2019, leaving consumers facing yet another price hike amid inflationary pressures. The rise in utility costs is expected to be particularly pronounced in certain regions of the U.S. Residents in the Mid-Atlantic and Pacific areas may see their bills spike by more than 12%, while those in parts of the Midwest could experience jumps of around 10%. This escalation is attributed to both rising electricity prices and increased usage, driven by hotter temperatures forecasted for the summer months. The difference in projections between various organizations reflects assumptions about usage rates and includes estimates for the entire summer season, with the association projecting higher rates due to hotter temperatures. The consequences of soaring utility bills can be dire, with heat-related deaths on the rise. Last year, over 2,300 people succumbed to heat-related causes, a significant increase from previous years. Heat-related health emergencies also reached record levels, underscoring the urgent need for policies to help vulnerable populations stay cool. Despite the growing need, current federal assistance programs primarily focus on heating assistance, leaving many low-income households struggling to afford cooling during hot summers. Additionally, federal funding for programs like the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, LIGAP, has been slashed, exacerbating the problem and forcing states to reduce the number of households served. As a result, millions of households are behind on their utility bills, with combined arrearages reaching billions of dollars. Moreover, inadequate protections from power shutoffs during summer heat waves further compound the risk to public health, leading to unnecessary deaths. Addressing these challenges requires a comprehensive approach, including increased funding for assistance programs, modernization of policies to reflect current climate realities, and stronger protections for vulnerable consumers. Without such measures, many Americans will continue to struggle to afford basic necessities like cooling during the sweltering summer months. Back to you, Bella.
Thanks for that update.
A safety test scandal has unfolded at several Japanese automakers, prompting Toyota Motor and Mazda to halt shipments of certain vehicles. The irregularities were uncovered by Japan's Transport Ministry, which found that Toyota, Mazda, Honda, Suzuki, and Yamaha Motor had submitted incorrect or manipulated safety test data during the certification process for certain models. We have Jensen reporting on this.
As a result, Toyota, Mazda, and Yamaha were ordered to suspend shipments of some vehicles. These developments follow a safety test scandal at Toyota's Daihatsu compact car unit last year, prompting the ministry to request automakers to investigate certification applications. The revelations are expected to increase scrutiny on Toyota's upcoming annual general meeting, with proxy advisory firms recommending shareholders vote against re-electing Akio Toyoda as chairman due to the spate of certification irregularities within the Toyota Group. Toyota's chairman, issued a sincere apology, acknowledging that the affected cars did not undergo the correct certification process before being sold. Toyota has temporarily halted shipments and sales of 3 car models produced in Japan. These scandals are a source of concern for the Japanese government, which has otherwise received praise for its corporate reforms. The government spokesperson labeled the misconduct as regrettable. Toyota disclosed that the wrongdoing occurred during 6 different tests conducted between 2014 and 2020, affecting models such as the Corolla Fielder, Corolla Axio, and Yaris Cross. Investigations related to vehicle fuel efficiency and emissions are ongoing. Mazda also suspended shipments of certain models after discovering engine control software test result modifications and tampering with crash tests. Similarly, Yamaha halted shipments of a sports motorcycle due to the scandal. Honda admitted to wrongdoing in noise and output tests spanning over 8 years on some 24 models that are no longer in production. These revelations have led to declines in the stock prices of Toyota, Mazda, and Yamaha, highlighting the significant impact of the safety test scandal on the automotive industry in Japan. Back to you, John.
Thanks for that update.
After years of facing challenges like above-target inflation, geopolitical turmoil, and recession in Europe, the U.S. economy continues to show resilience, largely driven by the American consumer, whose spending accounts for approximately 70% of the gross domestic product, GDP. We have Alana reporting on this.
However, recent data indicates a slowdown in consumer spending, which is concerning for economists. Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan highlighted this trend, noting that consumer payments, measured through credit cards, checks, and ATM withdrawals, have only grown by 3.5% compared to a 10% growth rate the previous year. A survey by accounting firm KPMG echoed this sentiment, revealing that while people remain optimistic about their own financial situations, they express concerns about the direction of the U.S. economy. The survey also found that a significant portion of respondents plan to engage in more discount shopping, while some intend to utilize buy now, pay later services. Peter Torrenti, a banking and capital markets leader at KPMG, discussed these findings, noting that consumers view the economy's growth prospects through the lens of inflation, which affects their purchasing power. Despite a strong labor market and low unemployment, the erosion of purchasing power creates uncertainty about the future. While consumers are optimistic about their personal financial situations, they are less optimistic about the overall economic growth in the coming year compared to business leaders. This sentiment is reflected in changing shopping patterns, with consumers across income levels seeking to stretch their paychecks further through discounted shopping. Torrenti emphasized that consumer behavior changes are evident across income levels, with a majority planning to engage in discounted shopping and a notable percentage intending to utilize buy now, pay later services. Regarding interest rates, the survey found that a significant majority of respondents do not believe that interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve will improve their personal financial situations. This lack of interest may stem from the uncertainty surrounding rate predictions and their perceived short-term impact on personal finances. Back to you, Bella.
Thanks for that update.
Hondi Lukaya, the billionaire founder and CEO of Chobani Yogurt, has announced his purchase of Anchor Brewing, America's oldest craft brewer, with plans to revive the brand. Anchor Brewing closed its doors last summer after over 127 years in business, following years of declining sales under its former parent company, Sapporo USA. We have Jordan reporting on this.
Despite being a newcomer to San Francisco, Lukaya was drawn to Anchor's strong connection to the city and its rich history. He was moved by the dedication of Anchor's employees and felt compelled to preserve the brand's legacy. Lukaya expressed his commitment to honoring Anchor's history while ensuring its future success. The acquisition of Anchor Brewing involved purchasing both its real estate and intellectual property, with Lukaya opting to keep the company intact. While specific plans for the relaunch have not been disclosed, Lukaya intends to revive Anchor's old labeling, which was changed by Sapporo in 2021 in an unsuccessful attempt to boost sales. Despite the excitement surrounding the revival of the 127-year-old brand, the craft beer industry has faced challenges due to shifting consumer preferences towards spirits and cheaper alternatives. Anchor Brewing had its own struggles prior to closure, including the loss of national distribution. Brian Roth, an analyst for Feel Goods Company, suggested that Anchor focus on its San Francisco and California roots, emphasizing its legacy and historical significance in American craft beer history. By reconnecting with consumers on an emotional level and targeting regional sales, Anchor Brewing may be able to regain relevance in the market. Back to you, John.
Thanks for that update.
Indian stock markets reached new record highs on Monday amid predictions of a decisive victory for Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the national elections. We have Ava reporting on this.
The benchmark Sensex index, tracking 30 large companies, and the broader Nifty 50 index both closed the day at their highest levels ever, with gains of over 3%. The surge followed the conclusion of India's extensive weeks-long election over the weekend. I can confidently say that the people of India have voted in record numbers to re-elect the government, Modi stated on X on Saturday, shortly after the polls closed. Modi, aged 73, campaigned on his economic performance over the past decade, a period marked by strong growth for India. Results were scheduled to be announced on Tuesday. In the previous election in 2019, Modi's party secured 303 seats in parliament. Market optimism surged this time based on various local exit polls indicating a much larger victory for Modi. With the exit polls pointing towards the 370 seats mark and exceeding street expectations of 320 to 350 seats, markets have reacted positively, explained Manish Chowdhury, head of research at brokerage StocksBox. We anticipate increased flows from both domestic and foreign investors in the future. The stock market surge followed robust economic growth figures released on Friday. The economy expanded by over 8% in the fiscal year ending in March, solidifying India's position as the world's fastest-growing major economy. While India is poised for sustained growth of at least 6% annually in the coming years, analysts suggest achieving growth rates of 8% or higher is necessary for India to ascend to economic superpower status. Investors anticipate that if Modi secures a significant majority in parliament, his administration will enact crucial land and labor reforms essential for the next phase of growth. Continued expansion could propel India higher in the rankings of the world's largest economies, with some observers projecting India to claim the third position behind only the United States and China by 2027. Back to you, Bella.
Thanks for that update.
The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and its allies, collectively known as OPEC+, have decided to extend the production cuts announced last year into 2025. We have Patrick reporting on this.
In a statement released on Sunday, the group announced the extension of a cut of 1.65 million barrels per day, which was initially announced in April 2023 and was set to expire at the end of this year. Additionally, they will continue the cut of 2.2 million barrels per day, which was announced in November and was set to expire at the end of this month. This cut will be gradually phased out on a monthly basis until the end of September 2025. These decisions come amid efforts to counter slowing demand and rising output from the United States. The group also released its 2025 production requirements, which are essentially the same as this year's. The United Arab Emirates production quota has increased by 300,000 barrels per day, to be phased in gradually from January through September 2025. Despite the ongoing production cuts by OPEC+ and tensions in the Middle East, global oil prices have fallen by about 11% since hitting a 5-month high in early April. Brent crude, the global oil benchmark, traded at $81 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude, the U.S. benchmark, traded at $77 a barrel on Monday morning. The subdued prices are attributed to record U.S. oil output, concerns about sluggish demand in major economies like China, and weak demand in developed economies, particularly in Europe. Despite weaker growth forecasts, there are concerns about a potential supply crunch. The International Energy Agency (IEA) expects global supply to increase by just 580,000 barrels per day this year, which could lead to a supply deficit in 2024 if OPEC+ extends its output cuts. The OPEC+ decision coincides with Saudi Arabia's plan to sell shares in its oil company Aramco. The government aims to raise $13 billion for economic diversification projects by selling less than 1% of the Riyadh-listed company. Back to you, John.
Thanks for that update.
The lawsuit filed by Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes against TikTok accuses the platform of enabling the sexual exploitation of children through its live streaming feature. TikTok Live allows users to post live videos, interact with viewers, and receive monetary gifts from them. Despite TikTok's policy of not allowing users under 18 to host live streams, the lawsuit alleges that the platform operates like a virtual strip club, where children may engage in illicit acts on camera in exchange for payments. We have Ava reporting on this.
The complaint claims that TikTok has been aware of issues with transactional sexual content during live sessions involving minors since before December 2023, based on user complaints and internal safety reports. TikTok spokesperson Michael Hughes responded by stating that the platform has strict policies to protect teens, requiring creators to be at least 18 years old and meet certain follower requirements before going live. This lawsuit is the second filed by Utah's Attorney General against TikTok, with a previous one alleging harm to the mental health of young users. TikTok has denied these claims and emphasized its support for young users through tools like automatic time limits. Additionally, TikTok is facing challenges in the United States after President Joe Biden signed a law requiring the app to be sold to a new company or face a ban from U.S. app stores. TikTok has sued to block the law, citing First Amendment violations. The new lawsuit alleges that TikTok has been aware of the misuse of its live feature but has not taken sufficient steps to address it. It describes instances where underage users engaged in sexually suggestive content for money and others were manipulated into sending monetary gifts to hosts in exchange for likes, shout-outs, or other interactions. Back to you, Bella.
Thanks for that update.
Thanks for tuning in to World in 15 for your daily dose of news and updates. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on breaking stories and insightful analysis.